Imagine holding a shiny silver coin in ancient Rome, one that could buy you a day's wages, a loaf of bread, or even a modest tunic. Now fast forward a few centuries. That same coin is mostly copper, barely worth the metal it's made from. And prices have skyrocketed so high that everyday goods feel out of reach. What happened? The Roman Empire, one of history's greatest powers, slowly undermined its own foundation through a sneaky financial trick called coin debasement, mixing less silver into its money to create more coins without mining more metal. It seemed like a clever shortcut to fund wars, palaces, and armies, but it unleashed inflation that eroded trust, sparked chaos, and contributed to the empire's decline. Today, we're going to uncover how coin debasement destroyed ancient Rome and why similar patterns of currency weakening are echoing in our modern world. We'll trace the timeline from the pure silver denarius of the early empire to the worthless scraps of the 3rd century crisis. Explore the emperors who accelerated the process. Examine the devastating economic fallout, and draw eye-opening parallels to today's inflation and money printing. By the end, you'll see why history's financial mistakes hold urgent lessons for protecting your wealth in uncertain times. Show timeline graphic of Roman Empire map with coin images evolving from silver to copper. Let's start with the basics. What was the denarius and why was it so trusted? Introduced around 211 BC during the Roman Republic, the denarius was a silver coin weighing about 4.5 grams, with nearly pure silver content, often 95 to 98%. As historian Glyn Davies notes in A History of Money, it became the backbone of Roman commerce, reliable enough to facilitate trade across a vast empire stretching from Britain to Egypt. Under emperors like Augustus and his successors in the 1st century AD, the coin stayed remarkably stable, with high purity backing the Pax Romana's prosperity. A legionary soldier earned around 225 denarii a year, and prices remained steady. Low inflation, perhaps under 1% annually in the early empire. But stability didn't last. The first major crack appeared in 64 AD under Emperor Nero. After the Great Fire of Rome devastated the city, Nero needed funds for rebuilding in his lavish projects, like the opulent Domus Aurea Palace. Instead of raising taxes, which could spark revolt, he debased the currency, reducing the denarius' silver purity to about 92–93% and slightly lowering its weight. This allowed him to mint more coins from the same silver stockpile, pocketing the difference as profit, a hidden tax on everyone holding money. As Niall Ferguson describes in The Ascent of Money, this was the ancient equivalent of printing money. More coins chasing the same goods meant subtle price rises. Debasement continued gradually. By Trajan's reign in the early 2nd century, purity dipped further to around 89–90%, partly to fund expansive wars and building projects like Trajan's Column. Marcus Aurelius, facing plagues and border threats, pushed it to about 75%. But the real acceleration came with the Severan dynasty. Septimius Severus, ruling from 193 to 211 AD, slashed silver content to roughly 50–57%, while dramatically raising soldiers' pay to secure loyalty amid civil wars. His son Caracalla went further. In 215 AD he introduced the antiunionus, nominally worth 2 denarii but containing only about 1.5 times the silver, effectively another 25% debasement. Caracalla also hiked military wages again, fueling the cycle. Why did emperors keep doing this? Endless expenses, defending vast borders, paying a growing army, quelling rebellions, and funding public works. Conquest spoils dried up as expansion slowed, and silver mines yielded less. As David Graeber argues in Debt, the first 5,000 years, debasement was a short-term fix for structural deficits, transferring wealth from citizens to the state without overt taxation. By the mid-3rd century, during the infamous crisis of the 3rd century 235 to 284 AD, debasement went into overdrive. Over 50 emperors or claimants rose and fell in 50 years, many assassinated. Each new ruler needed quick cash for accession bonuses to buy army loyalty. The Antoninianus' silver content plummeted. Under Gallienus 262 to 68 AD, it hit 5% or less, often just a copper core with a thin silver wash that wore off quickly. By 270 AD, many silver coins had only 2 to 0.5% silver. Prices exploded. Estimates suggest inflation reached 1,000% or more in parts of the empire, with some goods rising dramatically. Diocletian's 301 AD edict on maximum prices complained of rampant profiteering amid chaos. The effects were catastrophic. Inflation eroded savings and wages. Soldiers demanded more pay, merchants hoarded goods or bartered, and trust in money vanished. Good coins, Gresham's law. Bad money drives out good were melted or hidden, Worsening shortages. Trade fragmented. Cities declined as supply chains broke. The crisis compounded invasions, plagues, and civil wars. Barbarians crossed borders, and the empire temporarily split into fragments like the Gallic Empire. If you're refining this deep dive into how emperors quietly devalued money to fund their ambitions, eye-opening, especially with echoes in today's world, hit that subscribe button now to never miss out on more hidden truths about money and power. Let's keep uncovering history together. Rome didn't fall overnight from debasement alone, but it was a major accelerator. The 3rd century crisis nearly ended the empire, but reforms under Aurelian and Diocletian stabilized it. Temporarily, Aurelian recaptured lost territories, and Diocletian introduced higher purity coins and price controls, which mostly failed. Constantine's solidus gold coin in 312 AD restored some confidence, lasting centuries in the East. Yet the damage lingered. Hyperinflation contributed to economic localization, heavier taxes, and a shift to barter in the West, paving the way for feudalism. Now, the chilling part: why it's happening today. Modern fiat currencies and backed by gold or silver. Since the 1971 Nixon shock ended Bretton Woods, allow endless money creation. Central banks print trillions through quantitative easing, much like Roman mints churned debased coins to fund deficits. Post-2008 and COVID stimulus ballooned money supplies, driving inflation we've seen spike in recent years. As in Rome, it's a hidden tax. Your savings lose value while governments spend. Parallels abound: rising national debts, military spending, and welfare without corresponding productivity growth mirror Roman overextension. Assets like gold and real estate have survived currency failures throughout history, from Weimar hyperinflation to Zimbabwe, because they hold intrinsic value. The lesson: empires fall not just from barbarians at the gates, but from rot within, especially when money loses integrity. Rome's debasement teaches that sound money underpins stability, weaken it, and society frays. What do you think? Are we repeating Rome's mistakes, or can we learn in time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like if this opened your eyes, and subscribe for more on financial history's warnings. Next time, we'll explore what assets survive when money fails. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay empowered.